Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Mr. Anger, back with you for another episode of the Mr. Anger Show. Uh, Last episode, I was a little bit angry and irate over the preferences being shown towards an incident that just happened recently, and we're going to talk about the Orlando shooting a little bit. If you haven't seen this show, no, parental advisory. Parents, that was your warning. If you can't understand parental advisory, why are you a parent? Now, let's move on. A lot of things since the Orlando shooting has been going on. And I've taken some time off to kind of collect my thoughts on these because I'm watching the news and everything and everybody go at each other over what is the actual cause or what should we go after or what's the main factor that should be gone after this attack. And some people say guns, some people say terrorist. And I'm going to give you my answer, point blank and simple and sweet. I'm going to follow facts because logic dictates you follow facts. Okay, you follow what happened. You look at the shooter. The shooter was a person, a United States citizen, who was probably a little bit off in the head. But anyways, he fell for the propaganda of ISIS, and he was willing to join ISIS, and he did this to join ISIS or to get the 72 virgins or whatever. Alright, so that's the motivation behind it. You know, he's dedicating himself to ISIL or ISIS, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so he used a gun. Yes, he did. But, you know, if you're going to be like, well, a gun caused this amount of death, then go after guns, here's the problem I have with that. If it was guns, then why aren't you saying anything about anybody else who's been killed by a gun? Anybody. Not just from this one attack, but by anybody. Or anyone that's died by a gun. Why are you just stating the one thing? Or these mass shootings? And we'll divulge on that here in a little bit. So, have we had a pattern of this type of behavior before? Is what I would ask first. You know, have we had somebody, a United States citizen, go on a gun rampage before because of ISIL or ISIS recruiting techniques and them trying to join ISIL and ISIS? Yes, San Bernardino. And we've had arrest records out the butt. I think about every other week you see something, or a news organization reporting somebody trying to join ISIS or ISIL. So there is a pattern here, and you got to pay attention to that, because if there wasn't a pattern, you know, if this was just an isolated incident, then yeah, I could probably say, you know, it'd probably be something different besides terrorism, but it follows a distinct pattern, a pattern that needs to be followed, and people just want to ignore, and that's wrong. All right, so we have a pattern a behavior from people, from our own people who are joining ISIS or ISIL or trying to join ISIL. Why aren't we trying to figure out how to look for the people that they are trying to recruit? Why aren't we having behavioral psychologists, experts in every field, trying to figure out who these people are that they're trying to recruit? And what type of people fall prey to that kind of propaganda that ISIL or ISIS puts out? That's a huge problem, and we need to address that. Another thing is, you know, we've had, you know, the Boston bombing, and since September 11th, things have been bad. And we've had a steady influx of problems from a particular portion of the population. And it's not the whole of that particular portion of the population. It's a radicalized part of it, but the radicalized part of it's speaking loud and clear and doing a lot of bad shit. So, it is a terrorist problem. You know, you have ISIL, ISIS, whatever you want to call it, Al Qaeda. I mean, don't forget about them. They are not done and over with. Al Qaeda is just, they're in hiatus right now. They're seeing what ISIS is doing, and they're trying to fight ISIS and ISIL, but that's not going to last long. As soon as their attention is turned off of them, because that's an enemy that's close to them in their own backyard that they can deal with face to face, they're going to turn their attentions to the enemies that they used to have, us. So, everybody's saying, well, Al Qaeda's helping us, and yeah, that's a very shaky relationship, and I would not put it past them to go back to their old ways as soon as ISIS or ISIL was out of the way. It just wouldn't surprise me. So we have people who believe in a certain religious belief, such as Muslims, and that are radicalized and is causing a lot of death in this country, a lot of problems in this country. So we need to stop letting everybody in. I mean, like all the Muslims in. I mean, I hate to say that. And it's not discrimination. It's not picking on a race or religion. It's just looking at the patterns and going, okay, well, a lot of blood has been spilled. We know that all of you are not part of the problem. But I think the Muslim community can understand that, hey, we have a problem with this particular type of religion, and which happens to fit the Muslim community, and it's given other Muslims a bad name, and we need to figure out how to weed them out. So let's stop letting them in for a little while. Let us figure this shit out, because everybody's sitting there screaming, well, what about the refugees? We should let them in. Well, guess what? ISIL or ISIS, whatever the hell you want to call it, told Paris point blank and simple, if you let in refugees, guess what's going to be blended in with that? Some of us. And what happened in Paris? If you need to know what happened to Paris, go look it up in the news. There's a big old incident in Paris. They were warned, and they didn't listen. And we are warned, just as they've warned us. And we're not listening. We need to figure out proper vetting practices to figure out, how to spot the extremists, and how to spot the radical Islamists, and how to spot the propaganda. And we need to figure this out quickly. I'm not talking about, we're going to ban you forever. No, I'm talking about, let's have 6 months to a year max. Get together all criminal departments, CIA, FBI, NSA, local law enforcement officials, behavioral scientists, and get them together, and let's find out what the fuck we're looking for so we can figure out how the hell to stop this. It's a terrorist problem, pure and simple. And people who sit there and blame guns are showing their bias. Because here's the gun argument right here. It causes a lot of destruction, a lot of lost lives. Okay, so you only care about the loss of lives only if it's done by a gun. There are things out here in this society that kill way more than guns do per year. Alright, gun total deaths, 7,000 to 10,000 is what it runs per year. Now, motor vehicles. Your vehicles that you drive, you have more chances of dying inside of a vehicle than anybody who's out there shooting a gun. You have more chances of dying in that vehicle than being around somebody with a gun. It's that's facts. That's pure and simple. I mean, 70,000 to 100,000 deaths per year in America from automobiles, but yet we're going to focus on something that's 7,000 to 10,000. I mean, by you sitting there saying that the loss of lives cut too soon and tragically soon should be stopped, and it's blamed on this inanimate object, then why aren't you going after all inanimate objects? Because your bias is showing there when there are other objects out here in the public, in America, that cause more deaths than guns will ever will per year. So that's just people's bias. That's all that is. And it's true. And people were like, well, a car's not designed to kill. Exactly. But it does. A gun is designed to kill, and it doesn't kill as frequently as something that isn't designed to kill. Isn't that a little bit hypocritical? I think so. We need to figure these things out, and we need to address them appropriately. Now, is there a gun issue in the United States? The Second Amendment grants the United States citizens the right to bear arms. And yes, that was created back during the days when there was nothing but muzzle-loading guns. But back during the day of muzzle loaders, that was considered state of the art. That was considered high tech. You want to know why this law or this amendment was created? Sorry, not law, amendment, whatever. This right was created because our founders just had fought a tyrannical government. And they went up against the government and to gain our freedom, to give us our freedom. And these people knew above anybody else that with great power comes the possibility of corruption, people abusing power. So the citizens should have the same advantages that they had. You know, they should have the same access to the same weapons and stuff that could be used against them because fair is fair. Now, so, I mean, will that ever happen in our lifetime? I'm pretty sure it won't, but, you know, it's a slight possibility. But would it happen? I don't think so. Not in my lifetime. You know, we have to go up against our own government, against our own corrupt government. But, you know, what are you going to do when that day comes and you have to go up against your government? Or you do have to, you know, your ancestors later on down the road have to go up against the government. You taking guns away. Guess what? They're fully armed to the teeth, and you're standing there with your dick in your hand. It's pretty. It's about 8 inches. It please you. How stupid is that? Now, people are saying, well, assault weapons, da. Here's the thing about assault weapons. Alright, assault weapons are just, that word is so overused and so overplayed that it's just getting astronomically stupid. Yes, they have big clips. They can fire a lot of rounds. But you get a person who knows how to shoot, who knows how to place shots, who knows how to actually aim, with a gun that is nowhere near the banned list, or what people are hollering to be banned, they can arrange a death toll just as high. If people want to achieve something, good or bad, they will find a way to achieve it. It's just the way of the world, people. I mean, everything in life's a risk. I mean, you get a pool, you increase your chances of fucking drowning. I mean, isn't that obvious? You got a pool. Huh, you might drown. Oh, well, you know, I just know to be careful. I don't know. It's not a gun issue. But I do believe that, you know, we should be registered to, I mean, you have to register your guns. You have to go register to get a gun, and you got to pass criminal background checks and all this stuff, the 7-day waiting period. I mean, there's a bunch of laws right now in place, but, you know, the average, everyday, ordinary citizen can't go out here and buy an AK-47 with a drum clip to go with it. It doesn't work that way. You know, when people sit there and say, well, this guy got an AR-15, you know that the AR-15s that are sold to the public, unless you have a special permit or license, is single shot. Yes, there are conversions, but you got to know what you're doing, or else you're going to be stupid and you're going to blow yourself up. And this is how you tell the difference in between people who know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to guns and those who are just going off of a perception of guns. Right now, all it is in the media is just a big old perception mess pool. And I just sit back in amazement and just laugh my ass off. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've been kind of harping about the news here lately and stuff like that. What happened in Orlando was tragic. It shouldn't happen. We need to address the right issues, and the right issue is terrorism. It isn't guns. It's terrorism. We need to get a little bit more lighthearted on this show. Yeah, it seems like I'm always preaching and ranting and raving about something, but, you know, it gets frustrating being frustrated all the time. Sometimes you just want to sit back and relax. Like, people are so afraid of guns. It's ridiculous. You're just showing your bias if you're against guns, and you still get behind your car and you drive to work because you have more chance dying in that fucking car than you ever do by being shot by somebody. That's just plain and simple fact. Life is a chance, people. Life is a gamble. There's no guarantee that I'll be here in the next hour or so. Something random could happen. A plane could fall out of the sky and hit my damn house, and I blow up the kingdom fucking come. But you know what? So be it. That's life. That's life. I mean, I can't stop that from ever happening. But you know, hopefully somebody learns a lesson from the incident that takes my life and says, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't let this plane fly without, you know, properly checking it, you know, or something like that, you know. I don't know. It's just getting strange and complex anymore. I mean, my girls, I love my kids to death. 13 and 11 years old, they love to shoot. They're not afraid of a gun. Don't worry, they don't even know where the hell my guns are at. They've never been to that location, and as far as I'm concerned, they will never be until they prove themselves worthy of knowing that location. And don't get me wrong, they're my kids, I love them to death, and yes, I do trust them. But I know what it's like to be a young kid and have hormones take over your body and do stupid shit because of those hormones, because of those feelings and desires. So no, I'm not going to take them to that location until I know that shit's out of their system. It's called being a responsible parent. You know, people are sitting there talking about school shootings all the time. And I think me and the guy at work were talking today. We were talking about that. School shootings. Kids don't have an outlet no day. Or these days. I mean, they don't. You go to school, ignoring is considered bullying now. Yeah, I read that in the fucking handbook. Ignoring someone's considered bullying. Really? So you can't ignore somebody? You can't avoid the problem? So you're just going to force... I don't know. This anti-bullying shit's gotten way too fucking far. Kids will be kids. Kids will pick on one another. That's just the way of life. They'll find differences and stuff and little nuances about one another to give each other hell about. That's just kids being kids. I mean, as far as bullying goes, not unless a kid is intentionally or just walking up to the other kid and just beating the fuck out of them, then I wouldn't fucking worry about it. Let kids realize and learn on their own that, hey, you know, I don't have to deal with this person. I could just ignore them. Yeah, it's called learning responsibility. So for when they grow up, you know, they learn what they like and what they don't like, so they know to avoid the things that they don't like. So that way they're not always complaining about how everything fucking offends them all the goddamn time. I don't know. I've always taught my girls, you know, you never start a fight. You never, ever start an altercation. But if somebody hits you, finish it. That's all I ask. Finish it. My daughter, she got hit one time in school. She fought back. Principal's going to suspend her. That didn't work on my watch. Sorry. My kids are not going to be raised to become victims. I don't care what the hell your bullying policy says. Well, according to the bullying policy, if she hits back, she's as aggressive as that one, so we got to punish her both. No. My kid's defending herself. My kid's never going to be a fucking victim. You can peddle that shit on to the rest of the people all you want to, but not mine. I don't know. But my kids love shooting. They get a kick out of it. And they have a good time at it. And I really enjoy, it's something I enjoy doing with them. And it's not, they do it because they want to do, you know, have something to do with daddy or anything like that. No, I do several things with them. Take them to pools, I go swimming with them, I play board games with them. I do whatever the hell they want. Pretty much, but you know, they actually asked me when they were quite young. They saw me shooting. They were like, "Hey, Daddy, I want to shoot." Well, you can't shoot this one. Let's let's move down a few notches from this one real quick. You know, at the time when I was shooting an AR-15, and they wanted to shoot. I remember that very vividly. She came up. She's like, "I want to try that." And I was like, let me go up to the house and grab another gun that I have, and you can shoot it, because an AR-15 for a child of that age would just been a little bit too much for them. So I just got on a little tiny 22, and ever since then, it's been something that we like to do together. And I don't think that good people and responsible gun owners should have to pay the price for the fuck ups of the minute few. And here we go with the minute few statement again. It is. It's the minute few that fuck it up for the rest of us. Which one are you? Are you the minute few? I don't know. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, other than that, I'm going to get off this subject. Saw E3, enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I'm a gamer. I watched it. It was great. I enjoyed all the conferences. I do have a personal favorite. I will say that I like Sony's the best, because it displayed it gave me game after game after game, and all the games I pretty much saw, except for a couple here and there, I was like, ooh, yeah, I want to play this. I want to play this. It was a really good show, and no matter if you're a console lover, if you like PlayStation, you like Xbox, you like PC, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, as far as gamers, we're all fucking winning. So let's play and have fun. I don't know why there is this big console debate. I mean, pretty much the PS4 and Xbox One are pretty much the same things. Have pretty much the same hardware underneath. There's only some technical differences in between the PS4 and the Xbox One that will make a difference to some, but not to most or the majority of people. Like I said, as a person who's trained in the media production field, I'm trained to see frame rates. I'm trained to see the darker blacks, so I can see the graphics better. You know, PlayStation 4 has a deeper black than Xbox One, which enhances the colors, giving it a better graphic palette. I'm trained to see frame rates, so the frame rates for me are, since it's better on PlayStation, I gravitate towards PlayStation. Just because of the technical, but I'm trained to see these things. Other people are not. So for the majority of the public, most people won't even notice a damn difference, and it's all about the games and the exclusive games and the titles and stuff like that. But here with multi-platforming coming up, or multi-platform gaming coming up, or online gaming, I should say, it looks like things are about to get interesting. I'm looking forward to playing with the Xbox crowd and the PlayStation crowd and the PC crowd all in one spot. I think it's going to be a fun experience, and I hope it comes soon. Other than that, nothing much going on. My kids are out of town. They went out to Pigeon Forge for the weekend, and they're with their nanny and pawpaw, and they're going down there for a big old fireworks show. Parents that we are, we got to face our responsibilities and go to work and pay the bills. So they're down there having a good old time, and we're sweating and working our asses off. Hey, something's wrong with this picture. I want to be having a good time. Who wants to take me out for 4th of July? No. I think for the 4th, I think we're going to go to a local park. They have a pretty good fireworks show. What are y'all doing for the 4th of July? Let me know your plans. What are y'all doing for the 4th of July? How are you celebrating your independence? How are you celebrating your freedoms? Are you going to go to a big fireworks show, have a cookout with friends and family? Or are you going to, I don't know, what do you do for the 4th of July to celebrate that? Let me know in the comments section below. And let me know about things that y'all want me to see and respond to. I just ran across a video the other day that I thought was just hilarious as crap. I like to do reaction videos, so if you want me to start doing reactions, I would be happy to do that. Like I said, I want to get involved with you, and you get involved with me. That way you'd be like, hey, monkey, jump. And I'd be like, yeah, doing all that crazy crap. So, yeah, let's liven this show up, ladies and gentlemen. Enough of this dark stuff and the news, and racism, and politics, and debates. I'm sick of it anymore. I've had it up to here. And, you know, I know there's some issues that need to be addressed in this country, and we do need to address them. I mean, we need to secure our borders. We need to take care of our own. We have our own homeless, our own starving children, and until we fix ourselves, we can't help others. I mean, how in the world are you going to say, "Come here, refugees. We'll keep you safe," when we can't even keep our own selves safe? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. Anger. Y'all have a good one. I'm out. Let me know what to talk about in the next episode. It's a beautiful day outside. I want to go have a cookout. Y'all have a good one.